Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Pockets of heavy rain and even a bit of lightning in some spots this morning. We'll see more of this through the afternoon. I'll walk you through it on Futurecast.
And a shopping center is in ruins this morning after an EF1 tornado came through yesterday. The cleanup efforts beginning today and how long that could take.
It's a silent struggle that so many face. Just ahead, how veterans in Harnett County can get help this morning if they're battling a mental health crisis.
All right, thank you for joining us this morning here on WRAL News on it's a little hazy / foggy outside there as you're waking up this morning. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, we're glad that you're with us this morning. A lot to talk about, including the weather, because it's really different everywhere you look. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking some showers and storms here and there. Here in Raleigh, not raining right now. And we do have gray skies over downtown Raleigh currently, but there's some places where we have a little sunshine trying to break through. The sun that we see this morning will lead to some scattered thunderstorms later on. We do have a band of rain that's stretching back here from near Greensboro all the way up toward the Virginia line across the I-85 corridor. Also a little bit of rain here from parts of Johnston County, kind of straddling the line there into Wayne County. No thunder and lightning with that, but we're continuing to see some lightning, especially up around Roxborough. And they just added this flood advisory, which includes Person County. So we've seen several inches of rain with this heavy band, and it continues to really just move along the same track here through Graham. Most of that's to the west of our viewing area, but we do have that flood advisory that's in effect, and you can see that thunder and lightning there in Roxborough. So if you're in Roxborough, Durham, just be careful out there. You might run into some significant water on the roads. If it's covering the roads, you want to turn around and go the other way. Little cell here in Warrenton, lifting northward up into Mecklenburg County, Virginia, and we even have a little shower that's down south, moving out of Newton Grove into the southern part of Johnston County. So we will continue to see this on and off this morning. Some pockets of heavy rain, little lightning here or there. It will increase in coverage this afternoon, especially from the Triangle area eastward along the I-95 corridor. No matter where you are, though, we could see a few cells popping up. They'll likely be fairly small. We're not looking at a lot of severe potential for it today. We're looking at gray skies right now in Durham, 75 degrees. We still have a southwesterly wind, so pretty muggy out there. Our highs will climb into the low 80s for this afternoon, and then we're looking at some much warmer temperatures getting into the weekend. Two systems here in the tropics. We have Brett and, of course, Cindy that developed overnight last night. Brett's moving west at 18 with 60-mile-per-hour winds, moving into the Caribbean and fizzling out over the weekend. And then Cindy moving northwest at 15 with 45-mile-per-hour winds will stretch up to the north, acting like it's headed toward the United States, but it's going to run into a trough or a front that's coming off the coast of the U.S., and that's going to stop it, maybe even turn it and allow it to dissipate. So right now it doesn't look like it's going to be a threat to the United States. The rain may be a little thing that you have to deal with this morning, though, on your travels, Brian.
Indeed. Here at 8:03, have a couple of crashes in Wake County that I'm watching. One at 540 westbound, just before you get to Capitol Boulevard. Unfortunately, not getting a good look at the scene itself on the cameras there, but we are picking up a little bit of a delay as you head between Lewisburg Road and Capitol Boulevard. I don't think it's bad enough to consider using an alternate route at this point. Also on the west side of Wake Forest, watch for a crash at 98 at Wakefield Plantation Drive, which is not too far from Capitol Boulevard. Still not seeing any delays in that area. Reportedly, that's a pretty minor crash, so it likely has been moved into a parking lot or at least on the side of the road. Still, look out for some police activity possibly there on the side of the road. Had fairly light traffic volume so far this morning. There's a report of a disabled vehicle on 87 southbound right around New Hope Road. Not seeing any delays there. Maybe a little bit of brake tapping on 40 westbound right around the 42 interchange on the western side of Johnston County, and a little bit of congestion perhaps on the Beltline, but overall we're looking good. In Durham, no trouble at all on 85, I-40, or 885. As we zoom out, a lot of us are seeing damp roads this morning from those showers that have moved through. That's what the green means here on our current road conditions map. We've seen some showers recently up in Warren County, heading into Mecklenburg County, Virginia. Look at that camera up at I-85 at US 1 near the Virginia border, and you could see some of those wet roads there. So just take it easy as you head out.
Thank you, Brian. Folks, we're following breaking news in Durham. Duke Energy crews are working to get power on for nearly 500 customers right now. A power pole on NC 54 near Barbie Road caught fire this morning. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there as police helped direct traffic. It's not clear at what time this happened to cause the pole to catch fire or when the power will be restored. But folks, we are going to stay with that story and bring you an update as soon as we have it.
Cleanup will get back underway this morning at a North Carolina shopping center ravaged by an EF1 tornado. Drone video here shows the damage to the Furniture Fair store in Kinston, which is just southeast of Goldsboro. Just before 11 o'clock last night, the National Weather Service confirmed a tornado touched down there with speeds reaching 100 miles per hour. The storm blew out windows, tore a hole in the roof, and whipped debris around, even bringing down power lines.
You don't have that time of understanding it's coming, and you start prepping, and then you have the situation take place, you mitigate it, and you go through a recovery stage.
No one was hurt in the tornado. Officials say cleanup could last through the weekend.
Traffic is flowing again this morning on a stretch of I-95 in Nash County after two separate tractor-trailer crashes. Crews worked through the night to clean up the mess in Rocky Mount. You can see it right here. This is video of the damage from the WRAL breaking news tracker. One of the tractor-trailers slid off the side of the road and flipped onto its side. The driver was taken to the hospital and is expected to live. State troopers say the driver was trying to avoid a separate crash, and that involved a tractor-trailer and two other cars. No one was hurt in that first wreck.
The work to find what caused a submersible to implode near the wreck of the Titanic is back underway this morning. 5 people died when the Titan vessel came apart in the Atlantic. A remote-operated vehicle discovered the wreckage yesterday after a massive 4-day search. It had lost contact just 2 hours into its trip, and the U.S. Navy revealed last night officers heard the sound of an implosion right around that time. Investigators are now looking into what caused this disaster. We asked a UNC Marine Sciences expert what might have happened.
So the enormous pressure of the ocean at this depth really cracks anything that just yields a little bit, a tiny hair fracture, and it would be over in a second, I think.
The CEO of the company that made the submersible had expressed frustration with safety regulations before. He died in that implosion.
The growing mental health crisis in North Carolina impacts people of all ages and all backgrounds. This morning, a local community is working to provide help specifically for veterans. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live in Harnett County, where that event is happening today. Good morning, Kelsey.
Good morning. On average, nearly 17 veterans die by suicide every day in the U.S. That's from the Department of Veteran Affairs. Now, this event here at the Harnett County Public Library is designed to help prevent that. It's called Help for Harnett. It will include a panel discussion about the reality of veteran suicide and mental health. Data from the VA shows veteran suicide rates are decreasing, but one death is too many. Panelist Matthew Ellard is a local veteran who says he once struggled with his mental health.
I was once in that boat, and I'm glad I'm not anymore. Seek the help you need, and you're not alone in doing it.
This event is scheduled for 10 o'clock this morning, and maybe you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I'm not a veteran. This doesn't apply to me. Well, Ellard says that it actually does. He says veterans who are contemplating suicide often experience feelings of isolation. So if you know a veteran, he says be sure to surround them, love them, and build a sense of community for them. So that way they'll know that they're not alone. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Harnett County.
And people, remember, it's okay to not be okay. If you or someone you know is experiencing mental health challenges or having suicidal thoughts, there are people wanting to help. You can contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at any time. That number right there on your screen, 988. You can also visit 988lifeline.org for more resources. New restrictions on transgender student athletes could soon become law in North Carolina. A bill to ban them from playing on girls' and women's sports teams is now on Governor Cooper's desk. He's expected to veto it, but the Republican-controlled General Assembly has enough votes to override him. The new rules would affect private and public colleges as well as high schools, and right now, there are only 2 students in the entire state to whom the restrictions apply. This is just one of many anti-trans bills being pushed by GOP lawmakers in North Carolina. And members of the LGBTQ community say the new restrictions, that's not going to stop them from celebrating Pride this weekend in Raleigh. The city is holding its annual Pride Festival downtown, and thousands of people are expected to turn out. Many say they hope anti-trans bills will only encourage people to be more vocal about their support for the community.
Well, the rhetoric has not been this targeted in my memory as it has been this year. And it's important that we do make an effort to show out and show that we're not going to be put down so easily.
We have a full list of Pride events this weekend on WRAL.com. Got a warning for parents this morning. The dangers that baby shark toys could pose to your child.
She's 103 years old and has no plans of slowing down. Coming up, why the lobster lady in the state of Maine says she signed up for her 95th season of lobstering.
That'll keep you young. Wow, that's really impressive. Take a look here. A couple of areas outlined in green are where we have some flood advisories. So we've seen some heavy rain from Chapel Hill, Durham, northward through Roxborough. So be careful traveling there. I'll show you where else we may see some storms popping up later today. Coming up.
I'm Michael Grayson, the WRAL breaking news tracker in Durham, where you can see right behind me this weather causing some major issues as a tree now blocking University Drive. I'm going to give you a closer look at this. This is just south of Forest Hills Park, right before Starlight Drive as well. You can see a pretty decently sized tree. They have shut this road down, and it's going to stay that way until they can clear that tree out. Right now I see some workers from Spectrum out here, but still waiting on some workers from the Department of Public Works. If you look closely, you can actually see no break on this tree. It was actually completely just uprooted from the ground. So we're going to stay out here, hopefully get some updates on the cleanup. But good news is not too much of a detour. Just take a left there on Starlight. She'll only add about another minute to your commute this morning. Live in Durham, Michael Grace, WRAL News.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. If there was no break in the tree, most likely it was because we have such saturated ground. We've been seeing rain since Monday, and those big trees, even with just a little bit of wind that came through with that cell that just rolled through Durham, probably pushed that one right on over. So that can happen a lot more easily when we've had so much rain. We also have a flood advisory in that area. That particular band of rain is continuing to move on up into Virginia right now. We have a little cell that is not producing any lightning, but just a little pocket of some heavy rain north of Goldsboro and east of I-95. That's going to be crossing I-95 in the next 30 minutes or so. Let's head back up to the north. A little bit of lightning still with this between Roxborough and Yanceyville. That's sort of on the edge of our viewing area, and some of that rain moving on up toward Mecklenburg County, Virginia. But the area where we have a flood advisory includes Roxborough all the way down through Durham and Chapel Hill. This is where we've had several inches of rain already this morning, and most likely when that cell moved through, it probably had some winds gusting up to 40, 50 miles per hour. With the saturated ground, just push that tree right on over. Again, we have that cell east of Smithfield, west of Goldsboro, producing some rain, but no lightning with that one. We're going to continue to have these pockets of heavy rain popping up. Look at this line of thunderstorms that stretches from the coast of North Carolina all the way down into Florida. We're going to see our cold front continuing to slide eastward. Once it moves past us tonight, we're going to move into a different weather pattern, not the same old one where we've had that rotating low. Instead, it'll just feel more like summer. It'll be hot and humid with a few stray afternoon and evening storms. Here's Futurecast for the rest of the day today. Here's lunchtime. We'll continue to see these little pop-up cells that could produce some brief heavy rain and some winds that are gusty, but probably not severe criteria. Severe criteria is 60 mile per hour winds. You can see here at 9 o'clock, it just continues all day long. Here's a look at RDU. Cloudy skies right now. We're seeing 75 degrees around the Triangle area. We'll see a high of 82 today with a 70% chance of showers and storms. For tomorrow, it's just a 40% chance and then just a 20% chance on Sunday. So we move into a more summer pattern, a little hotter, 87 Saturday, 91 on Sunday. Sunday could be a great day to be at the pool or the lake. And boy, we haven't had much of that kind of weather this week. Two systems. One is Brett. That one is passing by the Leeward Islands, moving west at 18 miles per hour with 60 mile per hour winds. It will move into the Caribbean and fizzle out over the weekend. And then Cindy's going to head up to the north and west. It's moving at 15 miles per hour, has 45 mile per hour winds, likely to strengthen a bit, but not to hurricane strength. It's not likely to make landfall in the United States because of a trough or a cold front that's going to be coming off the coast of the United States early in the week. And most likely that one dissipates by the time we get to Tuesday or Wednesday. Again, a hotter weekend, 87 on Saturday, 91 on Sunday, more sunshine, but then a fairly potent system comes through at the beginning of next week. That's the one that may keep Cindy offshore. It could also bring us some severe storms. We'll show you a preliminary look at our severe weather threat coming up. Brian?
It is 8:17. right now. I do want to take you back to that scene in Durham. Michael Grace just showed us from the WRAL breaking news tracker that University Drive is blocked right now, right around Starlight Drive. Live pictures show you the scene out there, and that tree is blocking both lanes there, both directions of University Drive. Michael also mentioned it's a very brief detour. At this point, traffic volume is light enough that we're not seeing any problems showing up on the sensors there, just something to keep in mind just south of downtown Durham. On the western side of Wake Forest, we still have that crash reported on 98 at Wakefield Plantation Drive near Capitol Boulevard. Still not seeing any delays through that area. A couple other minor crashes in Raleigh are in the clearing stages. That crash out on 540 westbound around Capitol Boulevard appears to be completely cleared at this point. There's a hit-and-run investigation also underway on Atlantic Avenue near Highwoods Boulevard. Not seeing any big delays with that, but as you head through that area, you'll likely see some police activity on the side of the road. And a reminder, when you see those flashing lights, you do need to move over at least one lane. Taking a look at your major approaches into Raleigh right now, with the exception of our usual delays coming in from Wake Forest on southbound Capitol Boulevard, we're looking good in Wake County, also quiet this morning in Durham and Orange County.
All right, thank you, Brian. A deadly shooting in Wilson's Mills in Johnston County is now linked to a home invasion. Investigators say the 24-year-old who tried to break in was killed. That happened on Father's Day on Parker Street. Police say James Keith shot Jose Ramiro Cachak as he broke into his home. Officers say Keith cooperated with them, and they say charges will not be filed in this case. A woman is facing charges, including child abuse and impaired driving this morning, and that is because a child died in a crash in Franklin County. State troopers say 44-year-old Alicia Moose on your screen caused the crash along Old Halifax Road. They say she hit a ditch, then a tree, overturned, and landed in a nearby creek. The child died after being thrown from the car, and another passenger was taken to the hospital.
A warning this morning in Wake County. A colony of feral cats could be spreading rabies. At least one cat tested positive this week, and 5 people have been exposed. The county health department sent the alert yesterday. They found the cat off Great Woods Road in Wake Forest. They believe it's part of a colony of feral cats living near a grocery store on Old Creedmoor Road. They say the infected cat came up on a woman's porch, then scratched and bit her. Investigators say 4 other people and a dog were also exposed. They all got rabies shots just in case.
Parents, I really want you to pay attention to this. Millions of baby shark toys are being taken out of stores after reports of children being impaled. 5 on Your Side says the Consumer Product Safety Commission is recalling 7.5 million toys, specifically Robo Alive Junior Baby Shark Sing and Swim bath toys. The toys have a hard plastic top fin, and on 12 separate occasions, children fell or sat on the toys, causing them to be cut or suffer a deep wound. There are specific things you have to do in order to get your money back, and we have posted those step-by-step instructions on WRAL.com. Just search recall. President Biden and India Prime Minister Narendra Modi say the relationship between our countries has never been stronger. The White House welcomed Modi last night for a state dinner. Human rights activists and some lawmakers questioned the administration's decision to honor Modi at the event. They say India has seen an erosion of religious, political, and press freedoms under his watch. At least 6 Democratic lawmakers boycotted Modi's address to Congress.
And the president's son, Hunter, was among the people at last night's state dinner. His appearance happened 2 days after he agreed to a plea deal on federal tax charges. Whistleblowers told Congress yesterday IRS investigators had recommended more charges. A suspected Bosnian war criminal has been found after hiding out in Tennessee for almost 25 years. Last week, authorities in East Ridge arrested a man using the name Seed Dukic. The federal agents were able to identify him through fingerprints and facial recognition. It turns out he was on Interpol's red notice list and wanted by authorities in Bosnia for committing war crimes during the Bosnian War. That war lasted from 1992 through 1995. Dukic has bonded out of jail and it's not clear if he'll be taken to trial. A new store is opening in Raleigh this morning, and guess what? They're giving away free stuff. We all like free stuff. Tecovas, which is based in Texas, is opening a new location in the North Hills shopping district. The cowboy clothing shop is offering free tote bags, Yeti mugs, and koozies for the first 50 people in line today and tomorrow. There will also be live music and cocktails. The grand opening is at 10 a.m. How about a cocktail at 10 a.m., Chris?
I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy that, Michelle. Taylor Swift's Eras Tours has helped boost an industry that really needs it: public transit. Transit experts say the tour is bumping up ticket sales on trains, buses, and subways. In Chicago, Swift's 3-night stay generated more than 43,000 additional bus and rail rides. Atlanta's MARTA train saw more than 3 times the typical number of riders while Taylor Swift was in town. Mass transit took a hit during the pandemic, as you might recall. Nationwide, ridership is still down around 30% from pre-pandemic levels. The Buffalo Zoo is roaring with excitement at the arrival of 4 lion cubs. The zoo says the cubs were born in early June. Goodness gracious, look at these cute little cubs. They appear to be 2 boys and 2 girls. The little lions are healthy and growing. The mother will be away from the exhibit with her newborns, and she'll continue to care for them in private until they are strong enough to be with the other lions. The cubs haven't been named just yet, but they sure are cute. You better name one of them, I don't know, Simba, maybe, Nala, Scar, Mufasa.
There you go. He just named all of them.
There you go. We're good to go now.
They're so cute. Virginia Oliver, known as Maine's lobster lady, is still lobstering at the age of 103. Wayne Gray, a friend of Ginny's, confirmed that she has renewed her lobster fishing license for the 2023 season. She started lobstering with her father and older brother when she was 8 years old. So this marks her 95th year hauling in those traps. She still lives on the same street where she grew up, but in a different house. All of her children, they also lobster, just as her late husband had. When asked about what she likes best, she says being the boss. She is the boss. She's 103 and she's still lobstering.
Clearly.
Love
If
it.
you miss the old days of going to Blockbuster and picking out a movie, you're not alone.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Time is 8:26. I'm Chris Lovingett with your top stories. But first, a check-in with weather.
Let's take a look at the radar. First of all, dual Doppler 5000 radar showing this band of rain stretching from Greensboro and Burlington all the way up into Virginia. It's just sort of on the edge of our viewing area, but we are seeing some potential flooding out of that. We also have a little cell not producing lightning north of Goldsboro. That's about to move up into Wilson County. Let's zoom in on this one that's up to the north, and we're seeing most of the rain now moving out of the viewing area. Still some thunder and lightning just west of Roxboro, but this particular band, as it moved northward, dumped a lot of heavy rain, as much as 1 to 2 inches. So there is a flood advisory in effect from Roxboro down to Chapel Hill, Durham, and then on up into southern Granville County until 11 o'clock this morning. So just be careful in that area. Watch out. It's still pretty wet there in Chapel Hill. We've had some showers roll through. Our temperatures are right now in the low to mid 70s. We'll climb into the low 80s this afternoon. We do have an even better chance of some scattered storms as we get through the afternoon. Brian?
Taking a look at traffic in Durham, we're following breaking news where a tree has fallen and is blocking both directions of University Drive right around Starlight Drive. Live pictures from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker show that scene. It's going to be a while before they can get this cleared up. Thankfully, our traffic volume right now is light enough. We're not seeing big delays on University Drive, and Michael Grace at the scene tells us that's a very short detour to get around that. Just something to keep in mind there on University Drive south of downtown Durham. In Wake Forest, watch for a crash on 98 at Wakefield Plantation Drive. Not seeing any big delays with that one. Elsewhere around the Triangle, our major routes are all in pretty good shape.
Thank you, Brian. Next on Fox 50, Elizabeth Gardner is tracking the chances of showers and thunderstorms. And up next on Today, pop music star Kim Petras performs live on the Plaza.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We see some pop-up thunderstorms across our area. We even have a flood advisory for parts of the viewing area currently. I'll show you how much more rain we could see through the day.
And those thunderstorms obviously causing some damage around the Triangle. As you can see behind me, I'll tell you where a tree is blocking a road out in Durham.
And it's been a very big story the past couple of days. Investigators working to figure out what caused the Titan sub to implode while trying to reach the wreckage of the Titanic. We'll hear from a UNC marine scientist on what could have gone wrong.
It's a silent struggle that so many face. Just ahead, how veterans in Harnett County can get help this morning if they're battling mental health problems.
We have that story and so much more coming up on this half hour on WRAL News. But first, I want to say congratulations. You have made it to Friday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yes, you have. You've made it to our finally Friday. A lot of people looking forward to getting outside for the weekend, maybe, crossing their fingers that it's going to be sunny. And I think Elizabeth Gardner might have some good news for us. But right now, she's also tracking some rain up in the Durham and Hillsborough area, especially.
Yes, definitely looking better for the weekend. We'll go over that in just a minute. But we've had this line of rain and thunderstorms that's been spreading from the Triad area on up into our viewing area. It's up here in Durham County where Michael Grace is, where the tree fell. We've had a lot of rain. This is the area where we're dealing with our flood advisory. And we've had at least 1 to 2 inches of rain. A little bit of wind came through with this band as it lifted northward and just knocked that tree right over. That's the only report of trees down that we've had so far. But we will have this flood advisory in effect from Roxborough down through Durham and Chapel Hill all the way through until around 11 o'clock. We've also had some scattered storms around Warrenton. That's moved on up into Virginia. Down to the south, we have some heavy rain and a little bit of lightning moving out of Wayne County into Wilson County. So Lucama, Wilson, you've got that coming your way. We will continue to have pockets of heavy rain through the day today. It wouldn't be out of the question to have a tree come down, but it would be isolated at best. We're not likely to have the same kind of strong winds that we saw yesterday, but we will have those pockets of heavy rain and some lightning and thunder on through the day, and maybe even a little break of sunshine here and there. We're definitely looking at a much brighter weekend, and we'll touch on that again coming up. Gray skies right now in here at RDU, 75 degrees, a little bit of a strong wind coming out of the south at 9 miles per hour and a little gusty out there. Highs will be in the low 80s for this afternoon with an increasing chance of some scattered showers and storms. Two systems out here in the tropics. We have Cindy and we have Brett. Brett has officially moved past the Leeward Islands with 60 mile per hour winds. It's moving west at 18 and will settle here in the Caribbean and fizzle out over the weekend. Cindy's likely to take more of a northerly route, moving northwest at 15 with 45 mile per hour winds. It will strengthen into say 60 mile per hour wind speed and then likely dissipate as we get into the middle of next week. It's going to run into an area that's less conducive for development and most likely run into a cold front that's not going to allow it to approach the United States. So we're going to end up seeing that not necessarily affecting us. We do have some severe storms that are starting to pop up down along the coast. We'll talk more about our potential for showers and storms through the weekend coming up.
Well, as you just heard Elizabeth say, no down trees planned for the rest of the day in terms of storms, but we are dealing with one right here in Durham right now. This is right on University Drive in South Durham. I'm going to step behind the camera and give you a look at the damage because this entire portion of University Drive blocked off, and we are still waiting on workers from Public Works, the city of Durham, to get out here. We do have a worker from Spectrum. He's untangling some of the wires that got taken down with this tree, and if you look closely, the tree actually doesn't have any breaks or cracks. It just fell right from the roots out of the soil. So we are going to try to get some more updates, hopefully get word on when public work crews are going to be out here to clean this up, but definitely going to want to avoid this area. This cleanup is probably going to be happening for at least the next couple hours.
All right, Michael, thank you. Cleanup is expected to start again this morning at a North Carolina shopping center. That's because a tornado hit it. This drone video shows the damage to the Furniture Fair store in Kinston. That's just southeast of Goldsboro. Just before 11 o'clock last night, the National Weather Service confirmed the tornado did touch down there. On a scale of 0 to 5, this was an EF1 tornado with speeds reaching 100 miles per hour. The storm blew out windows, tore a hole in the roof, and whipped debris around, even bringing down power lines.
Investigators are trying to understand what caused the submersible to implode near the wreck of the Titanic. They'll be looking into that again this morning. 5 people died when the Titan vessel fell apart in the Atlantic Ocean. A remote-operated vehicle discovered the wreckage yesterday after a 4-day search. It lost contact just 2 hours into its trip. And the U.S. Navy revealed last night officers heard the sound of an implosion right around that time. We asked a UNC marine sciences expert what might have happened here.
Some components, for example, the plexiglass window, were not even certified for a depth of 4,000 meters, only for a depth of 1,300 meters. That means these components can crack basically at any point during the dive. And it's almost a miracle that something like this has not happened sooner.
The CEO of the company that made the submersible expressed frustration with safety regulations before, and he died in the implosion.
People of all ages and backgrounds are impacted by the growing mental health crisis here in North Carolina. And this morning, a local community is working to provide help for veterans specifically. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains how Harnett County officials are working to lower the number of people struggling.
On average, nearly 17 veterans die every day of suicide, according to the Department of Veteran Affairs. And this morning's event right here at the Harnett County Public Library is working to change that. It's called Hope in Harnett. It will include a panel discussion about the reality of veteran suicide and mental health. Panelist Matthew Ellard is a local veteran who says he once struggled with his mental health. Data from the VA shows veteran suicide rates are decreasing, but one death is too many. Access to care is key.
We've got a lot of veterans coming out of the military and even older veterans who they don't know what their resources are available to them, especially when they're in a crisis event where they're on the verge of doing something that they can't take back.
That event starts this morning at 10 a.m. And if you're watching the story and you think, well, I'm not a veteran, this doesn't apply to me, Ellard says this actually does. He says veterans who are contemplating suicide often experience isolation. So if you know a veteran, he says you should spend time with them, give them a sense of community so that they'll know that they're not alone. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Harnett County.
If you or someone you know is experiencing mental health challenges or having suicidal thoughts, there are people that want to help. You can contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at any time. That number is 988. You can also visit 988lifeline.org for more resources.
New abortion restrictions will be debated in court just days before they're set to take effect. A federal judge will hear a lawsuit next week over a bill passed by state lawmakers. It's the one banning abortions after 12 weeks. Republicans work to change the law, possibly to shore up some of the inconsistencies mentioned in the lawsuit. The state attorney general has refused to defend parts of the law, saying they're unconstitutional. That ban is slated to take effect July 1st. All right, calling all LEGO fans, we'll have a preview of just some of the things that you could see at a LEGO convention this weekend. That's coming up in Out and About.
Plus, it's something you have to see to believe. 11 sets of twins graduate from one high school, while most of them have decided to continue their education separately.
All right, let's step outside for a live look outside in Pinehurst. And wouldn't you know it, people are already out there hitting the links. We have a chance for scattered showers throughout the day, and so we are going to check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner for the weekend forecast.
Welcome back on your Friday morning. 8:41 is the time. This is a live look over Lewisburg. Check out the blue skies. You can see them poking through the clouds there. They're not seeing any rain, but it is a different story up in the Durham area. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking the weather all over, and it's different everywhere you look.
And we do have some sunshine that's trying to peek through in some spots. And where we see that, the sun's energy reaches the surface of the earth and helps to re-energize the atmosphere. And those are spots that can be triggers for thunderstorms later this afternoon. Right now, we're looking at a couple of areas. First of all, you're probably looking at this yellow box down here in the corner of your screen. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that's down around Morehead City, Atlantic Beach area. That's all moving away from us. So we don't have any severe storms right here. I wouldn't expect us to have widespread severe storms. We're not under a risk for today, but we will have some strong gusty winds. We had a tree down in Durham mostly because of how much rain we've seen. We have a flood advisory in effect for Durham. So, the saturated ground can allow those trees to fall over a little more easily than they might if it's been dry for a while. So a couple areas that we're watching. First of all, this band that's stretching from the Triad area up toward just west of Roxborough. We've been seeing rain falling in this particular area for a while. That's not necessarily all in our viewing area, but if you're headed in that direction, say west of Hillsborough, you might run into the potential for a little bit of flooding. We've seen this rain lifting northward, but behind it, lingering, we do have a flood advisory from Chapel Hill to Durham to southern Granville County, and then one in Roxborough as well. So just be careful in those areas. We have another cell with some lightning. It's not big, but there is some heavy rain with this and some lightning. That's about to move through Wilson. You give that about another 5 or 10 minutes, and that's going to be rolling through Wilson. The low pressure system that has brought us this very wet pattern this week is moving out. We have a cold front that'll slide eastward. That's going to help to fire up some thunderstorms for us for the rest of the day today. You can roll through. Notice there's not a ton of coverage, but we will have some pockets of heavy rain, a little bit of light lightning, especially along and east of the I-95 corridor. That's where the bulk of it will be, but we could see it anywhere. You can see a little bit of sunshine that tries to break out too. We'll see more sunshine for Saturday and Sunday. Here's a look at Wilson. That cell hasn't quite made it there yet, but you can see some really dark gray skies. And when that moves through, you're going to be dealing with some heavy rain and some wind. 77 is our current temperature. We'll likely just climb to 82. However, that number could be in jeopardy if we see a little more sunshine this afternoon. We could be a little hotter than that. We go from a 70% chance of rain today to a 40% chance tomorrow. We'll see just a few isolated storms in the afternoon with a high of 87. And then Sunday, minimal amount of storms and high of 91. Sunday might really be a nice pool day. A couple of storms out here in the tropics. We have Brett that's past the Lesser Antilles. It's moving west at 18 miles per hour, winds at 60. It is likely to dissipate this weekend here in the Caribbean without affecting any other land. And Tropical Storm Cindy moving northwest at 15, 45 mile per hour winds. It's likely to strengthen a little bit more as it passes by north of the Bahamas. And I know you're looking at it potentially trending toward the United States. Notice that it dissipates to a depression by 2 a.m. on Wednesday. It's going to run into an area where we have winds that will start to tear the storm apart. Plus, it's also going to hit almost a wall right here in terms of a cold front that's going to keep it from reaching the United States. So we're not too concerned about it right now, but we're watching it. 87 tomorrow, 91 Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. We have the potential for some severe weather, so we'll keep watching that as we get closer.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, a sister agreement between Hiroshima Peace Park in Hiroshima, Japan, and Pearl Harbor National Park in Hawaii. The agreement follows the G7 summit that happened in Hiroshima back in May. A Pearl Harbor National Memorial Park spokesperson says the goal is to promote mutual understanding and peace between the parties involved in the World War II conflict. And for its part, a Hiroshima Peace Park rep says the partnership of parks related to where the war began and ended will serve as a bridge for peace.
All right, you know what that sound is. Time for Out and About. From a Lego convention to a Broadway musical. Oh, there is so much to happen in the Triangle this weekend. And we have WRAL's lifestyle editor with Out and About, Kathy Hanahan here. Kathy, this is dope. I like what I'm seeing here.
I built this. No, no. There's an amazing artist, Jonathan Lopez. He's actually going to be on the 9 a.m. talking more about this. This is something that you can see at Brick Universe this weekend. 4,500 Legos made this. Can you imagine that?
I cannot imagine that, and I'm afraid to. Can I? Okay, just very carefully because it looks cool. Knock it over. And my last name is Lovingood, and this is a giant heart, so I feel like a connection to this piece here. And as you said, we're going to have the actual artist behind this on our show at 9 o'clock here on WRAL and Fox 50. So tell me a little bit about more that's happening this weekend as well. Brick Universe, Friday through Sunday over at Raleigh Convention Center. You can see things like this. Tickets are $15. It's a great family-friendly pick. And we got more stuff going on this weekend. Of course, we've got Six, the musical. That Broadway show, I believe that's happening there. Yeah. That's happening. That's fantastic. I saw that over a few days ago. Fantastic. That's going on. And then we also have the Out Raleigh Pride Festival happening on Fayetteville Street. Yeah, and I know there's an event that a lot of people can go to that, of course, you can look up all the specific things happening on WRAL.com in the Out and About section. Any other specifics you can tell us about the Pride event that's going to be happening there, or music, fun, I assume? Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we've got music, we've got 2 stages of live entertainment. Frenchie Davis is going to be headlining it, so it's a lot of fun. It's family friendly, and it's free admission. Okay, so clearly a lot of things are happening this weekend in the Triangle. I'm probably going to be very careful not to touch this. I feel like I'm going to get some death stares, and we'll end up on TikTok if this breaks right away. Kathy, thank you so much for telling us all the things that are happening around the Triangle this weekend.
Kathy always has the best picks. I love it. Thanks, Chris. A blast from the past that has some saying so long streaming and heading out to rent good old-fashioned videos. Gaddy Schwartz reports.
Remember what it was like getting ready for a Friday night, heading to your local video store to peruse the aisles?
Now this is a video store.
Well, that experience is nearly forgotten these days. But in the shell of a 94-year-old movie theater in Northeast LA's Eagle Rock neighborhood, a merry band of hopeless optimists are mounting an unlikely comeback.
Friday nights were like a party in our store.
Kathy Tauber and Patty Pollinger opened Vidiots in 1985, and for more than 30 years, the independent video shop was an LA institution until 2017, when the forces reshaping the media landscape caught up.
In the end, we just couldn't pull any more rabbits out of the hat.
What was once a fixture faded until now.
There's nothing like walking down here.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, this is like being 15.
With the help of a star-studded cast of supporters like the morning show's Mark Duplass, Vidiot's is celebrating the unimaginable. The grand opening of a new video store with an astonishing 60,000 titles for rent, a 270-seat movie theater, and a hunger for the shared experiences of the past.
You can come to a place like this and say, God, you know, I really love what Spike Lee was doing and what Hal Hartley was doing. But like, I also kind of like stuff that's like a little more like visually interesting, you know? It's like, come with me, my child, you know? And they hook you up.
And so far, demand has been a bit like 1985, with more than 1,000 DVDs rented in just the first few days.
This is one of these things where the community just screamed, we want this thing and we need this thing. And that's the only reason it exists.
Did you ever imagine that you would be the last bastion standing in this entire landscape?
Never. We thought it was like a 5-year thing.
Call it a Hollywood comeback, hoping to recapture that Friday night magic.
Oh, I miss Blockbuster. That was Gaddy Schwartz reporting. Well, today, a portion of I-95 in Philadelphia that collapsed earlier this month will reopen days ahead of schedule. The 6-lane highway is expected to reopen at noon. Crews have been working around the clock since the highway collapsed on June 11th after a fiery tractor-trailer crash. Pocono Raceway has helped speed up the process by providing a truck-mounted jet dryer, which helped the asphalt dry faster.
The armorer for the movie Rust is facing new charges linked to the deadly shooting on set. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is now charged with tampering with evidence. That's in addition to 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter and the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Prosecutors say Gutierrez-Reed handed off drugs to another person on set after the shooting to prevent police from finding them on her. Her attorneys deny the new allegations, and prosecutors dismissed involuntary manslaughter charges against actor Alec Baldwin earlier this year. And new this morning, more frozen fruit is being pulled from stores over concerns of contamination. You might already have them at home. The company Sunrise Growers is recalling everything from mango chunks to sliced strawberries. They were sold at stores nationwide, including Walmart, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Target, and Aldi. The fruit could be contaminated with listeria, so throw it out if you have it. No one has reported getting sick yet, though. We're watching for that. This is the 3rd recall of frozen foods this month, and you can read about the other ones on WRAL.com. Congratulations are pouring in this morning for 2 Duke basketball stars who are going to be headed to the NBA, and that includes Derek Lively.
It's like a dream getting started, you know. I just wish someone could pinch me and I don't wake up. And it's just, I'm so happy this happened, and I'm just so happy to be a part of the league.
That's fine, friend. You just go ahead and live the dream. Lively spoke after being picked 12th by the Oklahoma City Thunder and then being traded to the Dallas Mavericks. It's a big deal for him. His father died in 2012, and his mom has been battling cancer since 2014. Meanwhile, fellow Blue Devil Dariq Whitehead was picked 22nd by the Brooklyn Nets. But NC State's Terquavion Smith did not hear his name called last night. And the first overall pick of the night was Victor Wembanyama. He went to the San Antonio Spurs. The superstar has high expectations and is the first #1 pick ever to come from France. He was asked what he was most excited about for his move to Texas.
Breakfast tacos. Nah, I heard a lot about breakfast tacos.
Okay, there you go, breakfast tacos. Many experts consider Wembanyama to be the best prospect since LeBron James back in 2003.
Graduation at one New Jersey high school will have you hearing double. And that's because 11 sets of twins are graduating and only one pair opted to continue their education together, but in separate dorm rooms.
I'm going to Penn State. He's going to Lafayette.
I'm going to Penn State, and he's going to WPI.
I'm going to Bergen Community, and he's going to Montclair.
We decided against that, figured that we would branch out and meet new people, because then if we were to room together, we would just spend all of our time together.
Out of all of the twins, none are identical. They all say they'll miss marching alongside their other half. This actually is not a record for the school. Back in 2021, they had 16 sets of twins. Even the principal is a twin. I have twin brothers. They went to the same college because they could not bear to be apart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they went to Quinnipiac together. They didn't want to be apart. They have all the same friends. They are always together. So, you know, everybody does it their own way.
Buddies for life.
Exactly.
All right, before we go to break, we're going to show you the winning lottery numbers on your screen and get you another check on the weather and traffic in just a bit. Take those tickets out and check the numbers before you go.